All right, good morning, crafters. So today we are going to get ready for our coil wrapped baskets. Just a reminder, coil wrap baskets are made by taking a warp fiber, typically like roots or grasses. We're going to use this stuff called craft core, and we wind it around and around, and then we attach it to itself by wrapping weft, in this case yarn, but again that's often raffia, tendon, grasses. So coil wrap basketry is something that's been popular globally, and it's a craft tradition that has been carried on. A lot of times I visited Africa when I was in college, and people would load up their laundry in a basket like this and walk it down to the river, and then they would wash the clothes in the river and then lay them on coffee bushes to dry in the sun, and then they would walk back home to their villages. We're going to make some coil wrap baskets. So I just want to show you a couple examples, organized order. There's other basketry too. This is called twinning. We might get to that towards the end if we have. Baskets come in different shapes and sizes. They don't always have to be round, but they often are. One of the ways that we decorate the baskets are by choosing our colors of yarn and when to change from one type of yarn to another. You can create some really interesting conceptual effects, like this basket appears to be a watermelon. This one is just alternating pink and white and pink and white. So when you sketch your basket, you're going to want to think about form. What's the shape? How do you want your basket to contain things that you put inside of it? Do you want it to be relatively straight-sided? Do you want it to be open? Do you want it to be smaller? Do you want it to be multiple baskets attached together? Do you want it to be closed where it tapers in at the top? And what colors do you want? Okay. Remember, you can, by changing where you put the yarn or where you put the weft, you can get some pretty interesting imagery. Okay. So to do this assignment, you're just going to grab a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen. Doesn't really matter. And we're going to do 5 coiled basket sketches. And for the first 4, we're just going to do little thumbnail sketches. It can be on any piece of paper, on an envelope, in a sketchbook, in my case, because that's what I had around. So you're going to think about form and surface. Those are the 2 things that we want to think about. Again, form is the space. A lot of times coil wrap baskets are round. So I'm going to sketch this little gourd shape. That could be a really interesting basket. Okay. Another basket might be just a cylinder shape. The methods and materials that we're working with do a really nice job of making straight baskets. Okay. Another form that you could do is this tapered bowl that presents whatever's inside nicely. This would be the kind of thing that you could pass like dinner rolls around. Remember, they're going to have cords underneath that give them their texture, so they're going to have these little stripes. Okay, and the core, the craft core, the warp material comes in different diameters: 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. You can buy 3/8. Okay, so form is number 1, and then one of the things you might have is a basket that changes direction. It could go open. A lot of times, for beginners, just to make a basket with one direction is pretty good, actually. But you could make the basket change directions. Okay, and this would be a more complex form. So that's an option that you have. I like to shade my sketches just a little bit on the inside so they look like they're hollow. You could have more of an organic shape change to your basket. This little double move is kind of a popular, because this little part right here gives you a spot where your fingers can go when you're holding the basket. Okay, so is your form going to be relatively one shape, one continuous curve, or is it going to change direction? That's a question that you might want to answer for yourself. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sketches here. That's kind of what we're looking for. But the idea is that you're going to sketch in one spot some baskets. You're going to do a second batch of sketches where you try some different ideas. In this third batch here, I'm going to pick some of my favorites. I really like this one, and I kind of like this one. Okay, so those are my 2 that I'm going to go with. So I'm going to sketch those a little bit bigger, and I might consider what if the base is wider on that shape? Or what if the base is narrower and the basket is taller? So I'm starting with the same idea. I can do that same basket and I can bring it all the way down. Okay, so this is kind of, I'm just taking and I'm taking the shape and I'm stretching the bottom of the basket down. And you'll see, like, in that first idea, there are many other ideas hanging out inside that form. Okay, so this is kind of a fun way to figure that out. So once you've got an idea that you like, and then like I said, that I like this one too, so maybe I'll stretch that form out just a little bit more too, widen it, and see if there's a basket in there that I like, would want to keep things in my house. Try to give myself that feel of the texture. Okay, so I got way more than 5 baskets, but just sketching and then thinking about complex forms and then stretching out the form that I like the most. And then, you know, I'm kind of liking this one right here. So in my 4th quadrant, I'm going to think about other things, like maybe this basket has a lid. What would it look like if I had a lid so I could keep stuff inside the basket? Maybe things I collected, coins from other countries or flower petals or something like that. And that lid would keep them from getting dusty. Okay, so that could be kind of an interesting thing. What if instead of a lid, this shape had handles on it? What if I put little coiled handles on my basket? Okay, maybe I would like that more. Okay, so I've got these 1, 2, 3, 4 sketches. And now my 5th one, I'm going to say that this one is the winner. You might go back and be like, yeah, I'm going to go with this one. I tried all these things and I really like this sketch. Whatever sketch you're going with, then your 5th sketch, you're going to want to play with some color. Now you're maybe going to change your mind on the color that you want your basket to be, which is okay. But when we do these things, we've got to get some yarn out to you. So it's going to be a chance for you to play around with what colors do you want your basket to be. So I'm going to think about maybe a gray. What other colors do I got? Maybe gray and this sort of dusty purple. What if I change the colors of the weft kind of randomly halfway through the circle? So half of my basket was this lilac-y color. And then the other half of my basket was kind of this gray. Got different gray yarns. And then I'll do the handles opposite. I have to remind myself that this basket has some texture. So I'm going to go back in and add that little coil, that warp texture to the basket so it really starts to represent what I think it's going to look like. And then I'll make sure I put my name on it. And then I'll photograph that and I'll submit that for today.